Daily Blast Live. We're talking about what you're talking about.
You all ready for this?
Mm-hmm.
Dun, 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 dun.
This is a sham.
No. Y'all, just stop.
Get real.
Welcome to DBL. I forgot yesterday to say also welcome to August. It kind of arrived.
Wow, yeah,
I wanted to welcome the Leos of the world to the forefront. All right. Okay. There you go. Happy
My
August.
baby is a
Welcome,
Leo.
Leo. There you go, Kinsley.
I'm so excited.
I can't believe it's
She's gonna be
almost been a year.
I know. We made it through. I gave Colin a high five the other day, like we made it.
Good for you.
We made it.
Good for you. I'm proud of you. All right, well, we also made it on this end after 21-year manhunt. One of the key masterminds behind the 9/11 terrorist attacks has been killed. A drone strike killed their Al-Qaeda leader, Ayman Al-Zawahiri, who was staying at the home in a center of Kabul, Afghanistan. He was alone on the balcony when the U.S. took the shot. The home was hit by 2 Hellfire Ninja missiles with 6 knife-like blades that extend before impact. Al-Zawahiri was one of the FBI's most wanted terrorists and took over as leader of Al-Qaeda after Osama bin Laden was killed. So what do you think? Do you think Americans feel safer with this man gone? We all do, from the 9/11 generation, and 21 years is a long time, but my God, I still want that vengeance. What do you feel, Erica?
Yeah, I think it's a weird time. Obviously, this was someone who contributed to mass destruction in America of American lives. It changed the course of our history and life as we knew it. However, we're in 2022 now, and domestic terrorism is at an all-time high. And I don't know if that was necessarily at the forefront of people's thoughts. Not to say that the two can't coexist, because I certainly believe they should and they need to. But I think a lot of people are thinking about the fact that school is back in session and kids are going back, and what that means in terms of safety, the same way that we were thinking about flying or being in tall buildings after 9/11.
What's on everybody's mind?
Right.
Yeah, Linz, what's your quick thought on that?
Well, I think 21 years is a long time, but, you know, like Biden said, America is committed, and I'm paraphrasing, to bringing terrorists to justice, bringing justice to the families that have lost loved ones. And so I think that even when President Trump killed Soleimani, I had the same thoughts. You know, one less bad person in the country leading causes chaos within an organization, making them less likely and less powerful to attack us. And
I agree.
Even though that hasn't happened on the magnitude because of a lot of what we put in place, like TSA and protections that we now have, so we're protecting ourselves, I think it's important to keep them on top of mind and make sure that we tell everyone, no matter what, whoever's the president, if you committed a terrorist act to this country, you're a target forever.
Absolutely. And just if you were unclear of who he was, he's like Osama bin Laden's right-hand man. They announced the jihad in 1998 when that whole thing started. He was right next to him in that video. So they were very close, and he's gone. And I think that makes me feel better in many, many ways. Well, speaking of domestic terrorism, because Erica hit it on the head, here at home, the very first Capitol rioter to stand trial has finally learned his fate. Guy Reffitt, he's right here. He was convicted of 5 felonies, including bringing a gun to the Capitol. Yesterday, he was sentenced to more than 7 years in prison. He was turned into the FBI by his son after his father threatened him by saying, quote, "If you turn me in, you're a traitor, and traitors get shot." Here's what his son Jackson had to say about it all.
Have you, throughout any of this process, had any second thoughts about turning him in?
Absolutely not. But it still bears the guilt that he is his own person and he has made his own choices, but he's also been pretty much manipulated into making those choices. And it pains me that he is still responsible for his actions.
That's hard. Now compare that to what Guy's wife had to say about the whole thing. Take a look at this.
No matter if you're a liberal, if you're an independent, if you're a Republican, this is not okay. This is what this is political persecution. We are patriots. Ashley Babbitt was a patriot. My husband is a patriot. Roseanne Boylan was a patriot. And all I can say is that y'all can all go to hell, and I'm going back to Texas.
Whoa. I wasn't expecting that ending.
Okay, so just so the question is, could you turn in a family member like this, especially with everything so divided? Let me just give you some words that he said. This is Guy, her husband, who she said is a patriot. He was heard on a GoPro recording saying he planned to drag Nancy Pelosi, quote, out by her feet with her head hitting every step on the way down.
Like
Thoughts, Lindsay?
this is not a free-for-all. Like, you came to the Capitol with a gun. You threatened on tape that you wanted to leave leaders of our country hurt. Like, there's been more than 800 people that have been indicted already, and I hope that they all see charges similar to this, ranging from how egregious their acts were. Like, we all have been looking for somebody to blame for this attack on the Capitol, and slowly we're getting some justice from each person that's going through their trial. So I don't feel bad for him. And he also threatened to shoot his son.
Yeah,
like,
you're
the worst father in the world at this point.
Yeah, that's true. But now, what about people who say, as I know my father, he's not a threat. This is his daughter, Peyton. My father's name wasn't on all those flags that were there that day that everyone was carrying. It was another man's name. So he never even entered the Capitol, this guy Reffitt. How do you feel about that response?
I feel like this is a whole mess. I think that it's just a whole mess. Like, we have tried to like muddy the lines in terms of what is acceptable and what is not in our society and in our democracy. And for this person, like, good on his son, because had his son done, we always talk about parents are responsible for what their children do.
Good call.
And we're calling on parents to be like, be proactive. Let us know if they're a threat to themselves or to their schools or to other people, if they're going to bring a gun to school. And now you have this young guy who did the same thing in reverse to his parent, who should be the one who's setting the example for him. So, I mean, good on this kid. May he be covered, because he clearly needs it. The mother has drank the Kool-Aid just as much as the father. And the idea that it's, you know, talking about, that's the thing, it's like, that's where politics in our country have become so, like, undiscernible. Because to me, this isn't like a party thing. This is a radicalization thing.
It's a domestic terrorism thing.
And when you want to conflate the two, it's only helping to hurt democracy.
Right.
So, I mean, good. I hope she had a safe trip back to Texas.
Yeah. You want to know something? The judge, she said, first of all, you're the least patriotic person that I know, that none of what you did was patriotic. But then she said, you were trying to be a big guy, huh? You were trying to be the first one to not take a plea deal and see what you got. And you put yourself in, and now look at you. Did you make a big mistake? And he goes, yeah, I did, Your Honor. So he knows he made a huge mistake. Huge, huge.
He might want to communicate that to his wife, too.
And, yeah, and his child, I would think, as well. Let us know what you guys think. 7 years, this is Adam Thompson, is a slap on the wrist. He should have gotten at least 15 to 20. By the way, that was on the lower end of what he possibly could get. Ashley Babbitt said she was willing to die for her cause, and she did. Interesting. Keep writing us in. Coming up on DBL, our interview with dance moms. Oh, yes. Abby Lee Miller. She reveals her biggest regret about doing the hit show. She was very honest. But first, a man is going viral for getting revenge. The crazy video of the disgruntled worker taking out a marina.
Closed captioning provided by
Poshmark.
I think it is one of those stories we're all going to be like, what?
So raised you.
Why am I right all the time? Welcome to another week of Jeff's Mustache.
Am I going crazy?
I was saying that makes me a little sad for Texas. There are really good people I know firsthand in Texas, all over Texas. So the fact that she's representing, talking about she's going back to Texas, I wish she just left that out of the statement. But
I mean, my family is from Texas.
and they know how to behave. Exactly. They know how to
act like that.
Normal American citizens.
Okay.
Yeah, go to hell. I'm going back to. Y'all can go to hell and go back to Texas. That's
I was caught off guard. Yeah. But also, like, I keep saying, like, where is the grown man of it all going to come into play? Like, people have to take personal accountability. I understand that you drank the Trump Kool-Aid, great. But you decided to take a step in there with a rifle and do things that were illegal, leave people hurt. Like,
read the transcript, Lynn, because he does call himself a bleeping idiot. So it seems like he's understood. The wife certainly hasn't. That he's made a huge error.
I know, but the
because
fact
she
that his wife
hasn't
and
had
kids
to-
are still saying that.
Because they haven't had to face any consequences.
Yeah,
exactly.
So he's like,
makes
okay,
it
fine.
So much different.
I'm dumb.
Yeah.
We have literally, and I think it was happening before, but especially after lockdown, so many people became so radicalized because of isolation. Not that these were new ideas and concepts, it just became far more intense. And what happens is you start to project all of the privilege of people that you are idolizing or holding up and taking that on as your own. You do not share that type of bank account. You do not share those types of resources. You cannot take action that other people might be able to get away with and have ownership over it and not expect consequence. It's just not how life works.
You have 4 minutes. Stand by.
Welcome back. Secretly, this is my favorite part of the show, the viral videos. All right, up first, an angry worker, it's not funny, in a marina in Canada. Canada! You'd think they'd just go, "Urgh!" He got his revenge after he was fired. Check this out. He used a backhoe to destroy one of the marina buildings. He was charged with, quote, how Canadian is this? Mischief.
No, that needs to be like, I don't know, assault on the building or something.
Agreed, and had to pay a fine of almost $4,000.
Only $4,000?
And say he was sorry. Just kidding. But according to reports, more than one building was damaged. The cost could be over $1 million. What do you think about
$4,000?
Canada?
I'm about to move to Canada. That's allowed.
You know.
Well, tell us about Canada. It's very sweet there. Everyone's kind.
That's not sweet. I can't speak for Canada.
You
My husband is from Alberta.
They speak
There's
for
many
everyone.
different. Just so people understand, Canada is not this mystical place that is of the north. They live the same that we do. There isn't one prevailing idea for all Canadians.
She's
Just
right.
like if you go to Texas, you get a different type of culture. If you go to Florida, you get something different. Or Illinois, you get something different. You can't talk about Vancouver and Toronto and Montreal and Calgary like they're all the same place. It's just a place that's above us.
They're all the same. You'll never convince
And
me.
there's a border.
I'm just kidding. Someone said Canadian graffiti is just, hey, have a good day, written in spray paint.
Yeah, no, that's
This story
not true.
made me think about that JetBlue employee that took the slide out, like when he was overworking for JetBlue.
Oh, yeah,
they were already on the ramp. He just was like, I'm out of here. I hate you all. But this is the thing, like even though he got in a lot of trouble because that's a federal crime to do anything on a taxiway,
right?
It still was like, this is way more dangerous and harming other people.
I agree with you.
I prefer the JetBlue slide all day. This is just a psycho.
I totally agree. All right, so up next, a man in Connecticut got quite the surprise when he discovered a bear had broken into his home. What did he do next? Check it out.
Go on. Go. Take off, bud. Go on. Get out of here. Go. Go on.
Oh, I'm mixed. A lot of emotions there. Fear, interest. Maybe he was the Uber Eats driver. Oh, okay.
That wasn't bad.
Thank you. It was not from me.
That wasn't bad.
It wasn't from me. I got it from Kelly. All right, before we discuss, we actually have another viral bear video, but this bear is much more polite. Video shows the bear at the front door. He seems to even ring the doorbell. He finally leaves after no one answers.
Well, that was nice of him, just to see if anybody was home.
He was like, is there porridge?
I've had friends, or I have had a few friends who've lived in the mountains, and when I would leave, first, it was very rare that I would leave at night, because I'm like, I don't know who you think you're playing with, but it ain't gonna be me today. I would get the pots and pans, and I would bang until I got into my car, and then hand the pots and pans back and take off.
You have to make a lot of noise,
No.
So I'm one of those people who thought Colorado was like all one thing happening. Like Erica just said, that's not the case in any other state. So I thought bears just roamed all over the place. So when I first accepted this job, I just knew a bear was going to be like in my apartment complex and at my door. And so this is like still a nightmare that I have when I see these videos of people in Colorado with the bear at their trash. Now that I have a house, I swear it's going to be me, even though the likelihood of them coming over to this area in Denver is very random.
Yeah, well,
but it terrifies me to think that I'll ever encounter a bear.
Where you were before, your apartment, I would have zero concern. But where you are now, you might actually get some visitors. Not necessarily bears, but it would be just be on the lookout for that because it's a newer place where people are like.
Yeah, I go directly from my garage, close it, and go inside. Like I have to make sure that I'm okay.
You know what I watch on those adventure shows when they go, hey bear, no bear, go bear. That's what you're supposed to say to get them to go. Hey bear.
That feels like a sure way to get attacked.
Definitely not a good thing. Coming up on DBL, Abby Lee Miller gets candid about her experience on Dance Moms and if she's to blame for JoJo Siwa's bald spot. You don't want to miss the interview with her after the break.
So what is monkeypox? Let's start with the name. Monkeypox was first discovered in 1958 in monkeys being used for research. But it turns out they were not the source of it. They just happened to be susceptible to it, just like humans. It belongs to the same family of viruses as smallpox, but it's less contagious and not anywhere near as deadly. When smallpox was eradicated globally more than 40 years ago, officials stopped vaccinating for it. And that's part of the problem now. The smallpox vaccine provides protection against other pox viruses, including, you guessed it, monkeypox. The last monkeypox outbreak in the U.S. was in 2003, but that was only 47 cases, all linked to pet prairie dogs. Those animals were infected after coming in contact with small mammals imported from Ghana. During this outbreak, monkeypox appears to be spreading through skin-to-skin contact with someone infected. It has an incubation period of usually 1 to 2 weeks and can start with a fever, muscle aches, and fatigue. After that, a rash develops, resulting in lesions. It typically lasts 2 to 4 weeks. While most people recover just fine, children and people with weakened immune systems are at risk for severe disease. The U.S. uses 2 types of smallpox vaccine to fight monkeypox, and the CDC says anyone who thinks they have been exposed should get a shot. But that's easier said than done. Doctors and patients are reporting lengthy delays in test results and a daunting amount of paperwork just to get treatment.
You're just not good enough. You want a professional response? That's it.
Wow.
Your left leg's not as high as your right.
Wow.
You bubble on your turns. The last solo I gave you, you choked and you changed the choreography. Don't cry. Don't you dare cry.
Dancing. All right. Dance Moms made Abby Lee Miller a household name, but were her outbursts hostile or tough love? And what does Abby think of the snub her former student JoJo Siwa gave to Candace Cameron Bure? Ooh, it's all over. We asked her. She told us. Take a look. You know JoJo personally. What's your take on all this?
You remember things that happened as a kid. You do. So JoJo was a huge fan of the show. She wanted to be a star since she was born. And here she meets her idol and, you know, gets snubbed a bit. And you remember that. I can tell you that somebody did it to me, and his name is Rob Lowe. Oh. And I will never forget it. Yes. And he has like a little bit of a past, right? Anyway, he was at Elton John's Oscar party sitting at the next table, and I waited until the meal was finished. He got up, I guess, to go to the men's room, and he was coming back. He wasn't seated yet. And I said, may I please have a picture with you? Oh my God, I've been a huge fan forever. He looked at me like I was dirt on the bottom of his shoes.
Wow, that's Rob Lowe of him.
And said, I'm at a party. And went and sat down. I'm like, I'm at the same party.
Abby, I appreciate the straightforwardness. You didn't even go like Schnob Bo. You just went right for his name and like, I like it. I like it. I like the honesty. So let's get back to JoJo just for a minute. JoJo is also making headlines for another video she posted on TikTok saying her bald spot is from a stress rash she got while on Dance Moms.
I texted JoJo and she texted me back just like 10 minutes ago. And she said, no, you did not give me You didn't make me bald. On the show, she had a rash. She said it was from stress. So maybe a doctor told her that. I don't know. And she picked it and made herself bald.
Wow. Okay.
So you're denying those claims?
Yeah. You know what? I don't understand with these kids, all of them. Why is it always me? You know what I'm saying? They had a mother that was there on set all the time with them.
So
I did my very best under those conditions.
So I wanted to ask you, Abby, in response to what you're saying, because it's super interesting, would you say that it's everybody that was responsible for creating a hostile environment? Because people have accused just you, Abby, of creating a hostile environment. So would you say, no, that's all of us or none of us? How would you respond to that?
Well, I think the whole premise of the show was supposed to be a hostile environment, number one.
Absolutely.
And number two, I wasn't an executive producer. I didn't have any control or any pull. I was fighting with the producers up until the minute we started shooting, whether it was about music, whether it was about the theme and the storylines. And I just didn't want to do what they wanted me to do. I wanted to do what I wanted to do, what I knew would win. And we were competing in Ohio, New Jersey, New York, against people that I knew, people that were my colleagues and my competitors. And I wanted to put my best foot forward. And they wanted some outlandish, ridiculous garbage.
Wow.
Really quickly, do you have any
producers,
regrets?
I was going to just ask that.
That's great.
Absolutely.
All right.
Yes. My regret was signing that piece of paper, letting them in my studio to begin with without a plan in place. It was supposed to be 6 episodes. And the biggest regret was my business. My business should have come first.
Do you believe that the show also destroyed a lot of those children's self-esteems?
No. They have millions of dollars in the bank. No.
Okay, so since you're being so forthright, another rumor, in fact, a lot of our viewers are writing in about this right now, and they want you to clear it up. So I hope that you can be honest with us. So you recently dropped a video talking about your desire to join the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. Is there something in the works?
Well, some press outlet posted something about Abby Lee Miller, newest housewife. And I was like, what? Where did this come from? So I went with it. I shot a really cute YouTube video. I had great fun doing it. I happened to have Doritos in my house. I mean, that was bizarre. And we just did this whole thing. It was great. And now everyone's like, oh, she's trashing all of them. I just did it all in good fun.
You've teamed up with Chef Bruno Serrato and his nonprofit, Katarina's Club. Now, can you tell us why you chose this specific organization?
Well, when I found out that this amazing chef was feeding children, I had to get involved. You know, I'm all about kids. Regardless of the kids on the show and what they remember, what they say, I have always been an advocate for children. He makes the dinners right there, prepares all the food, then delivers it to the Boys and Girls Clubs, to motels. I mean, $5 can feed a family of 4. And he does this every single night. Yeah. It's amazing what he's doing. And I wanted to be involved. And I'm looking forward to going there and actually help make the food. That's gonna be fun.
Yeah, Abby, you know, Katarina's Club is an incredible organization. I'm so glad that you're talking about it. I'm so glad that you're involved. In fact, to our DBL Nation, if you want to make a donation, highly suggest you do, to Abby Lee Miller's point, $5. Yeah. Pays for a family of 4's meals. Please visit their website, katarinasclub.org. Just $5, again, can feed a whole family. Abby, thank you so much for joining us today, for being completely forthright.
Yeah, we
appreciate that. We'll be right back. Thank you.
Thank you so much for inviting me. Thank you.
Thanks.
Promotional consideration is brought to you by
This summer is a scorcher. The dog days are dragging on with record-setting heat, threatening a lot more disarray than just discomfort. Viewer AJ said the power went out at his workplace recently and no one could figure out why. He asked, is it true heat can cause power outages? Our sources are the North Carolina State Cooperative Extension, American Society of Civil Engineers, the independent science research nonprofit Climate Central, and Duke Energy Representative Jeff Brooks, who confirm it's true.
As the heat increases, electric use goes up because of air conditioning and other types of electric use, and that puts more and more strain on the system. Now, the grid is a machine, right? It's designed to work in extreme conditions. It can perform well in challenging conditions, but like any piece of equipment, the hotter it gets, the less efficient it operates. And so you will see lines actually begin to sag a little bit in some cases, and that's the effect of gravity and the energy that's flowing through those lines as it pulls down to the earth.
The American Society of Civil Engineers gave the U.S. electrical grid a C- rating. The engineers warned our electricity, quote, depends on an aging and complex network. Even if states go greener with zero carbon by 2050, grids still could have weather problems. Heat could reduce wind speeds, meaning minimal wind power, and drought could reduce water supplies for hydroelectric dams. But Brooks said energy companies are planning ahead.
You know, you think about storms, you know, we have to have a system that can recover quickly from those types of disruptions. And that same technology, what's great about it is it's also the same technology that enables that transition to cleaner energy. So we're making the grid more resilient and we're making it cleaner at the same time.
This chart from Climate Central shows since 2000, the U.S. has experienced a 67% increase in weather-related events, and those outages cost the economy an estimated $18 to $33 billion a year. So in conclusion, yes, it's true, heat can cause power outages, but the link is generally indirect when more usage puts more strain on the system. Brooks acknowledged comfort is individualistic, but it takes a collective effort to preserve the grid. He suggested bumping up the AC temperature and running ceiling fans in the summer. He acknowledged energy companies do have contingency plans for planned outages, or rolling blackouts as they're called, but they're a last resort. With your Verify, I'm Megan Malaris.
All right, any goals for August, anyone?
Ooh, I'm manifesting work-life balance.
I like that, Lindsay.
I'm cuddling my baby all month.
Cuddling my baby, that's awesome. Self-love, self-love. Huggies. DBL's new. We'll see you tomorrow.